Salutations Ragers, General Bradley 101 back again with some more lore. And today's Warhammer 40k lore video, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the children of the Emperor, who turned out to be one of his most hated defectors. We're taking a look at the fallen champions of excellence who have now become the deferred perfidy of excess incarnate. So this is chosen, the Emperor's children. But more specifically, we're talking about what the Legion is, and how actually, without chaos, they aren't really anything at all. Confused about what I mean? Well, that's why I have this however long minute video to talk to you about it. So, let's get cracking on with today's video. So, before I can truly explain what I mean, I need to give some ground context. With each individual Legion, there is something that you love, and there's something that you hate. Now, why is it that someone loves a Legion so much? Why is it that this Legion is their favorite Legion? And that ultimately comes down to this. I connect with them on a deep level. You hear the story of the World Eaters and how tragic they are, how they're given unto rage and how they are thrown away. There are people who are like that, who are seen as a violent tool and nothing else. They see that, they lock onto it, and they love it. Why do people love the White Scars so much? They are noble, and they are free. Yet despite having so much good to them, despite the fact that they are really just the greatest of the great, one of the greatest legions, there are many people who still look down upon them as merely barbarians who crave freedom. They're so simplistic. And there are people out there who enjoy freedom, who enjoy the simple things in life, but they're just labeled as being simplistic and idiotic because they don't go around bragging everything about themselves. That is why people connect to them. Why do people love the Salamanders? Because there are those who love to help people, who love to protect people, who love to guide people. They love family. They love being there for people. To them, they are the happiest when everyone else around them is happy. They also have a strong sense of duty, but more importantly, the value of life. Everyone should be happy. Everyone should enjoy life. And everyone should be good. And when they see that someone is trying to harm them for no reason, there is a deep rage that boils within them. And the fact that people only assume that they're soft idiots who are naive and only know about caring, that they're just juvenile. In reality, they know what is right and wrong. They know there is a price to be paid. They are willing to pay that price. They are willing to give everything. And that is why people love the Salamanders. Because there are people out there who are nice and who love and who want to protect. But the moment you harm anyone that is close to them, you will realize that whilst they do not want to harm anyone, that doesn't mean that they're harmless. That is why I love the Salamanders. That is why many people love the Salamanders. And for every single Legion, you can find something like that. There is a Legion for every single person. But what about the Emperor's Children? The Emperor's Children, if you know me, are one of my most hated yet loved legions. I hate them for what they represent, but I love them for what they are. Now, what do I mean by that? I am someone who struggled with the idea of perfection a lot. You know, growing up, I was told I had to be perfect. I had to be the number one in everything. I had to be well-mannered, good grades, perfect everything, physically fit, alles. I had to do everything. And it was a lot. It was a lot. Like, I got imposter syndrome because of that, and it really did drive me off the wall. So seeing what happened to the Emperor's Children, and seeing what happened to Fulgur in particular, it is something that really hits a core, because I'm like, that could have ended up being me. Like, I could have fallen off the path and gone into that bullshit, right? So in that regard, I hate them, but because I do relate to it, I love them so much, because they are represented as fallen corruption done so perfectly well. But then that comes to the crux of today's video. People who connect with the Emperor's Children connect with them because of their fall. But I would argue that the Emperor's Children are the only Legion that people do not connect to pre-heresy. I.e., without them falling to chaos, people would not find the Emperor's Children as connecting and as appealing, as loving as they do. Without chaos, the Emperor's Children are just bad, and dare I say, boring. Okay, so what the hell do I mean? So you consider each Legion. Each Legion is deeply connected to what they were pre-heresy, and what they are post-heresy is directly influenced by what they were pre-heresy. Makes sense, right? But if you consider the pre-heresy Legions in a vacuum, a lot of them are very, very similar to what they became post-heresy. But the Emperor's Children are not that. The Emperor's Children are the most drastic change ever. But because of that, that's what loses the connection to people, because of what they represent. For those who don't know, pre-heresy Emperor's Children were all about perfection. We are perfect, we do everything perfect, we are the children of the Emperor, we are the only one of his sons that can bear the golden aquila and the royal purple. That is what we are. We are perfect. We practice perfect everything. Excellence. We are the most noble. We are the best warriors, the finest swordsmen, and the most adept at sculpting. That is what we are. We are warriors. We are noble. We are the definition of the perfect human. That is what they strove for. And whilst initially that was just excellence, eventually the perversion would become perfection. But if you think about that, that's not really something you can connect to. I don't know about y'all, but when I think about something that I connect to on a deep emotional soul level that really does talk to my heart, the idea of pursuing excellence and being the most perfect and noble is not really something that I can get jiggy with. Mainly it's because everyone does that. Everyone wants to be a good person, everyone wants to be noble, everyone has something that they really, really want to excel at. Be it a hobby, be it cooking, be it work, whatever it is. Everyone has something, but there are very, very few people, at least that I've met in my lifetime, and from what I've seen online, who really do just look at the idea of a Space Marine Legion pursuing excellence, and that being, yeah, I get that, I love them, they're great, they're perfect, they are my soul animal. Most people who love the Emperor's Children love them because of the corruption, because of the fall. So if you omit the fall, if you remove chaos from the Chaos Legion, you just get a legion. And whilst inherently they aren't bad, they're bland, a little boring. Now, people will come and they will say, oh, what about the Ultramarines? Aren't the Ultramarines just the same thing? Well, no. The Ultramarines never claim to be perfect. They don't excel at anything. They are rulers, governors. That is their thing. They are warriors. They are determined in everything that they do. But they are builders of an empire. They are warrior kings. That is what they are. Yet, if you take a look at the Emperor's Children, the main thing that they have going for them, the main thing that defines them and that leads them to their eventual corruption and fall, is the pressure, the need to be perfect, to be pushed further and further and further beyond. And ultimately, that is what leads to their fall, which then leads to why people love them so much. It's directly connected. Now, yes, of course, it's because they're written like that. And it goes to show how well they're written that you can't really distinguish the two of them without the one, they don't really make sense without the other. So kudos to the writers and the lore in general. But it's a thought that I had. And you know what, to be fair, if we live in an alternate universe where the Emperor's Children were just like the perfect legion, right, and that was the whole shtick, they're really good, they just want to be good, right, excelling everything, I would most likely love them. Because, I'm the type of guy, I love stuff that people other think call boring or lame. I'll be honest, that's the type of guy I am. I like vanilla, fuck you. But that's the thing. Whilst they would be an okay legion or a good legion, they wouldn't exactly be a legion that people would love. You would have one or two people like me who would like them, but if they were just the perfect legion, no one would love them. Because there is no one who is truly perfect. There is no one who is truly, completely 100% on the right track. We are all trying to make our way in this world. We are all trying to achieve something better, something new, something. We all have our own flaws which cause us to stumble and fail. And ultimately, that leads us to looking for more and more, for better, for more power, for more wealth. And that often leads down to corruption. Without the Emperor's Children falling to chaos, they are not a legion that people can love, because they are not a real legion. They're not a real people. And of course, I'm going to make this argument, and I know that most people would rightfully agree with me, but I'm going to say it anyway. If the Emperor's Children didn't fall, it would be a massive mistake. Many of the legions could have remained loyal, but I'd argue that if the Emperor's Children remained loyal, they would be the worst choice to do that. Because if you consider their loyal iteration, it doesn't add anything to the story. There's no fall, there's no grace, there's no nothing, there's just nothing. They're plain, but in the worst way possible. They're not plain in simplicity where you can enjoy it without complex nonsense. They're plain in where that there's just nothing. There's no sustenance to it. They're not plain as in a slice of toast or a baked potato, where there is still the flavor and the beauty of that particular item. They're plain in that they're a glass of water, in that where there's nothing. And whilst in some cases that can be refreshing, it's only refreshing after you've had something really spicy, really salty, or something really too strong. Meaning that you will only crave it when you've had too much of one thing. You will rarely go and seek it out for yourself. Now, saying that, it does sound really, really sad, and it's very off-brand for me. I'm someone who always look at the positives of the legions, right? I always look at why do people love this legion, why people are invested in it, because I truly believe that every single legion, every single faction in Warhammer 40k for that matter, has something that anyone can love and that everyone should respect. But when I thought about this, and I looked at it, I'm like, if the Emperor's Children don't fall, they're just a rubbish legion. They need the fall to make them interesting and unique and to make them fit. If you remove the fall, you remove everything about the Emperor's Children, which, when you take it into context, it's both really sad, but in the same vein, it's so very potently well written. They are a legion who, without falling to chaos, without giving into the depravity, without giving into the pain of not being perfect, they lose what makes them themselves. They are a potent and poignant reminder that without any flaws, with just being purely and utterly perfect, with achieving everything you ever wanted, that doesn't mean that you'll be happy. That doesn't mean that people will love you. That doesn't mean that people will look on you with wellness and kindness and true love. They may admire you from afar, but if they can't really connect with you, if they don't feel like they're on the same level as you, like they're the same person, can they truly love you? For do we not feel kinship with those whom we feel closest to? And what is more close than seeing the flaw that you've always thought was your worst in someone else, and working together to fix that flaw? The Emperor's children are the only legion that couldn't remain loyal. They are the only legion who could not take up the mantle of being a legion pre-heresy and making it through 40k. Because they're supposed to be a reminder that inherently, the idea of being only excellent, of pursuing only perfection, of making that your whole core identity and personality is fruitless, it's pointless, and ultimately, it will lead to your damnation. You, as a person, you as a space marine, be you whatever it is, even a Primarch, if you are human, and you devote everything that you have to only being perfect, it cannot work out. There will be no success, there will be no golden spotlight, there will be no beautiful joy. There will only be corruption and damnation that are left in your path. Again, it's something that's really poignant. Again, I talk about this and I point to the fact that the Emperor's children are really well written. Like very, very well written. But it's one of those things like you don't think about that in 40k. In 40k you only see about the corruption, right? The Emperor's children are meant to fall, we all know that. But you take a look back at any particular legion and you see them and you look at them, you realize that things could be so much different. The Thousand Sons, the World Eaters, Death Guard, any one of them could have changed. They didn't have to take that path. But when you take a look at the Emperor's children, I don't know if this is just me looking with my particular set of lens and worldviews, but I can't see a path where the Emperor's children don't turn. Unless they don't change. Unless they aren't the Emperor's children. The Emperor's children as they were pre-heresy were not sustainable. They had to change into something. They could have remained loyal, yes, but they wouldn't have been the Emperor's children. There would have been something together, something different, something that we would not recognize. So then that begs the question, would we still love them if they were different? But would we love them for the same reason? No, but what would they become? It's so easy in Warhammer 40k just to look at something and to simply take it at face value. That being that it's goofy, or that it's silly, or that it's really just depressing, the fact that it's super serious. But if you look at it and you realize that there is so much nuance in 40k, and it often doesn't get the justice that we deserve. 40k is not just something that is altogether always been. Stagnation is a key part of it, but we often forget that in 40k, the things that are there for a reason. The Emperor's children fell for a reason. The Emperor's children represent falling for a reason. The Emperor's children are what they are because of chaos. And if you remove chaos from the Emperor's children, you end up with something that is not only no longer the Emperor's children, it loses every single thing that people loved about it. And every single person who was connected with them no longer can be. And at the end of the day, we see that, well, more often than not, falling for chaos is a bad thing. For the Emperor's children, if they didn't, well, they wouldn't be loved. Which is ironic because before they fell to chaos, all they ever wanted to be was loved. 40k's writing isn't always 100%, but when it hits really bloody well. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for watching. Let me know down below. What do you guys think about this? Do you guys agree with me? Do you think I'm just thinking out of my head a little bit too much here? What are you guys' views and opinions? Do you guys think that the Emperor's children could have existed, had some changes? We don't really get much on them pre-heresy because, you know, the whole point is that they fall. But hey, I want to hear you guys' thoughts down below, so let me know. But I want to say a massive thank you guys for watching, and even a more massive thank you to my awesome members and Patreons. Big shout out to my Officer Corps with Mr. Eddie V3, Mr. Majora of the Void. Shout out to my Sergeant tier members, Mr. Damiak, Mr. Andy McGee, Mr. Warsmith.Fireheart, Mr. Corns Butcher, Mr. Bulwin, Mr. Sean IRL7, and Matthew Merrill. Big shout out to my Corporal tier members, Tremail the Math Kitty, Mr. Lord Rosarius, Mr. Tech Priest Toaster, and Shauna Smithers. And finally, but certainly not least, Massive thank you to my private tier members, Mr. Thomas Moslons, Mr. Ivan_SVW, Mr. Hattori's Curse, Mr. Monkey Man, Mr. Michael Hayeda, Mr. Diego Castro, Mr. Fortus Unum, and Mr. Gentle Salamander. Thank y'all, each and every one of y'all. I love y'all, I appreciate y'all. Y'all are amazing, y'all are beautiful, y'all are awesome, and I just want to give you the biggest kiss. Mwah! But ladies and gentlemen, I've been the German Brother 101. Y'all may be awesome, amazing people. Y'all make sure to stay honorable and excellent out there, boys and girls. But not perfect, because nobody can be perfect, except for you. God damn it, you are amazing. But your imperfections are what make you perfect. Where was I? I don't remember. But I will catch y'all next time. Dismiss, Rangers. Slanushi.